Hello, book lovers. I'm Professor Gore, and my colleagues, Maestro Wilson and artist Angie Trotter, have created for you a book, All Is Assuredly Well, for the children of same-sex parents. This book is based upon the monomyth, sometimes called the hero's journey. And in this video, I want to show you how the hero's journey is related to our story. The hero's journey, which was written about extensively by scholar Joseph Campbell, is always shown as a circle. The upper third of the circle is the known world, and the bottom two-thirds of the circle represent the unknown or magic world. The hero's journey starts at 12 o'clock on the circle, and it always begins with mundane life, the everyday life of the person who is to become the hero. In our book, the mundane life is the king content with his life in the castle with his husband. Then, in the hero's journey, about 1 to 2 o'clock, the king gets a call to an adventure. And in this case, it comes in the form of the dream, as it does in many great pieces of literature. King Philip dreams that he holds a baby in his arms. He believes that she will bring laughter to their castle and love to their hearts. The next step in the hero's journey is often the refusal to answer the call. Now, King Philip wants a baby, but he's not a brave man and he doesn't often leave the castle. In fact, the tagline for our book is, "Sometimes you gotta leave the castle." So King Philip refuses to answer the call, but he still wants the baby. And so he decides that he will just stay home and sing to the blue star and ask her to send him a baby right there to the castle. He does that for 777 nights. The star doesn't send him a baby, but on the 777th night, the star explodes. The king is so brokenhearted that he decides to enter the forest, and that's where the transformation becomes, and he moves from the known world into the unknown world. As he enters the forest, the blue star, which has exploded, now is the size of a baseball, and she shimmers before him. This is answering the call and meeting the mentor. So in the star shimmering, she tells him telepathically that he must follow her, that he must take the hero's journey and prove himself worthy to be a father. Then we move further on in the circle till about 4 o'clock, in which the king or the journeyman meets allies and helpers, enemies, gatekeepers, and while he's meeting them, he masters trials. Now, his allies and helpers in our story are the newt and the blue jay. We don't have any enemies in our story because it's a bedtime story, and we don't think little children need enemies in their bedtime stories. But he does meet gatekeepers. The first one is a fish that nearly bites him. And then the next gatekeeper is a bear that he has to wrestle. And then finally a blue jay. His trials include crossing the waters, and in all the great myths there are waters involved, whether it's sailing across waters or swimming through waters. Then he has to tunnel underground because in the monomyths there's always a trip deep into the underground. Perhaps it's the underground traveling into hell, or it's going through the mountains of Moriah, but a hero in the hero's journey must travel underground. And he climbs mountains and then finally wrestles a bear. At about 6 o'clock on the circle, the hero undergoes the ordeal, the great ordeal. He gains the elixir and undergoes apotheosis, which essentially means turns into a god, or in this case, into a worthy father. When the hero undergoes this ordeal, he is entering the inner sanctum, and he finds the elixir of life, sometimes called the Philosopher's Stone, as in Harry Potter, the Holy Grail, or always referred to as the boon. In our story, with the King Jay's imprimatur, because the king of the birds is the jaybird, and he lands on King Philip's finger to give him his imprimatur, his permission to come into the dangerous place, the fairy circle. King Philip crosses to the fairy circle to claim the baby. He undergoes apotheosis from not father into father, worthy father. As we move on up the circle, the hero must return to the ordinary world with the boon, and in this case, the baby. He's carrying the baby back. Now he is a changed man, a father, and as a father, the king returns home with his baby. We enter again into the known world, and at this point, it is the responsibility of the hero to share the boon. King Philip presents their baby to Don Carlos now, causing Don Carlos's apotheosis into father. At the upper left-hand corner of the circle, it's time for the boon to be shared with the world. And Don Carlos, now father, a worthy father, shares the good news with the world, and the world is forever changed because the baby has come to the castle. She has come to the kingdom. We invite you to study our book as well as other great works of literature and see if you can find the cues to the hero's journey, and also to read the works of Joseph Campbell to learn more about the hero's journey. Thanks for listening.